Hi. Today is the new moon, and we're not talking about new moon this time, but I will continue my topic of Panchabhuta or Mahabhuta, and we will be discussing the element which is close to the moon. I've been already been talking about that moon is related to the emotional aspect of us, and hence the element that is related to emotions, we will be discussing that, and that is water. 72% of water in our body basically depicts or is responsible for the emotional aspect of our, uh, our being or self. Um, so, if we have to understand water and what does water governs in our physical body, so we know that uh, it's the fluidity, it's the nourishment, or we can simply say that it is something which controls the movement of energy as well as fluids in our body. So it's very, very, very important for the physical aspect of our body, and we can simply see the repercussions of disbalance of this element in our body. So before we understand uh, how water is related to us, we'll understand what properties of water is, right? Which we all basically know. We all know that water is the element which exists in the three states: solid, liquid, as well as gaseous. We all know that in environment, if we talk about uh, water, when it is stagnant, it gets it becomes an invitation for diseases. It pollutes. When it's free flowing, it's good. uh, when water is deep, when water is shallow, these are the terms which we can relate to water. And when we apply the similar terms to emotions, we'll be able to understand that how water and emotions are closely related. uh, I'll take another example. When we say water uh, is solid, is in water form, liquid form, and is in gaseous form. So if we compare it with emotions, you know solid water would depict rigid emotions, where a person is not able to either speak about something and speak about the emotions, or is very reluctant in sharing, emotions, or even reluctant in accepting emotions. uh, on the other side, the gaseous would be when the emotions are they come and they go, they're not permanent. uh, Whereas in the form of liquid, it is free flowing. Yet in the free flowing state also, we can see that then I again would understand water in terms of what happens when there's a disbalance of water. We know that either there'll be floods when the excess water is there, or we will face scarcity of water, then we'll have droughts. Similarly, when the water is too much, we have excess of emotions. When there are droughts of or the scarcity of water, we have lack of expression of emotions. And these are not just metaphors. We'll understand them, that how direct relationship of water being excess and water being in scarcity, what happens to the body and the emotions. So coming back to uh, I'll just give basic introductions to water and how water is related to the, the body basically. So the chakra that is responsible or is related to water element is the second chakra, or the sacral chakra, or the Swadhisthana chakra. Now the Swadhisthana chakra lies at the belly button, and what it is responsible for, that we will cover in the chakra system. But the energetic body, when we talk about it, is this. When the physical body we talk about, the two main system that are dependent on, completely dependent on water is our kidney and bladder, right? We already know that. But all the other systems are of course dependent on water also, because water is the medium, right, for us. So this is just the basic about that. Uh, Coming back to astrology now, why I'm introducing astrology here is because I want these connections, I want these connections to be made, so that it becomes easier for us to understand that how everything is attached to each other, and how it is related to each other. So we don't see things in isolation. We understand that everything falls in place when we start seeing them together. So in astrology, all of us basically know this much, at least, that we have 12 signs, right? And we generally know signs based on Western astrology, which is just the date of birth, right? We are October born, or September born, or February, March born. But when you get into Vedic astrology, you would understand that we have 9 grahas, and these are not 9 planets, but the 9 graha, including the sun and moon. Now, when you see your natal charts, the Lagna chart would show you these 9 planets distributed in different signs. And when we understand that, if your chart shows that your planets or the grahas are in water signs, so the 12 signs basically are divided into these 5 elements. So to say, if we talk about water, the three signs that come under water signs are the Cancerians, the Cancer, the Scorpio, and the Pisces. So these 3 signs come under water element, right? And similarly, all the other signs, 3 each, will fall under different elements. So why we are talking about this here is that when we will understand that by looking at charts, we can understand that if somebody has more of water or less of water elements or the planets in these signs, what will it do to a person, and how this is related to Ayurveda, and how is this related to spiritually, if you want to understand ourselves, right? So let me give you an example and explain how these 3 signs I would define, because we're not going into the depth of astrology, but at least we are trying to understand. So if I have to define water bodies for each of these signs, I would say that Cancer I would define by a free flowing river, right? Scorpio I would define as a well which has no end to it, right? It's a endless well. Whereas Pisces would be a ocean, right? So when I'm giving them these water bodies, the attributes of each of these water bodies will define the signs, right? So this will tell you that if somebody has more of Cancerian traits, or somebody has more of Scorpion traits, or some planets is falling under particular sign of which is water, so this is a way basically you can understand your own composition. So this is about astrology, and it's a good tool to understand your body. Other than that, working with water, how do you work with water? So now working with water is very, very interesting, because I think this is one element that you can work very freely, and in every day you can work with this. So the best time to work with water is with the moon cycle, because moon, if you want to work with moon, water is a wonderful medium to work with moon. And if you have water placement and you have fluctuating emotions, uh, working with moon is must. And understanding moon cycle is must, because then you will start understanding how your emotions change with the moon cycles. And so that is moon cycle, and we'll understand more about moon cycles and emotion in the astrology series. uh, the other thing is, and how do we work with water during the moon, with the moon cycle? So on the full moon day, of course, I would say that you can make moon water. Moon water is charging water with the moonlight. Now, charging water is a very, very interesting thing. uh, let's understand what exactly charging means. So we know, scientifically we know that water has memory, right? Now if we go back to the times when there were sages, and there were if you as a child, or if you've seen those Mahabharat or Ramayana, if you've seen, the sages always carried that kamandal, and they water all the time with them. And whenever they wanted to curse somebody, or they wanted to bless somebody, they would use water. So water is used, and even nowadays, even when you sit in the puja, we know that water is used for two things. One, for vows or for promises, right? And the other one is for cursing somebody. So the reason they used to use water, and even we still use water in these puja or rituals, because water has memory. When you give, I would not say command the water, but when you say something to the water, it is charged, it is full, because our voices are very, very powerful. That is how mantras work. That is how word is a medicine. And uh, when you mix that with power of water, it is double medicine. So I love charging my water, and one is way to charge water is through moon. The other way is to charge water is like whenever you're drinking water, you have your glass. I love to do say thank you to water. uh, so you must have heard somebody in your family telling you that don't stand when you're drinking water, sit. We all know practically what's the reason. It doesn't go directly to the stomach. And the other thing is, you should not swallow it, right? In one gulp. You should have smaller sips, right? And when you have water, you should keep the water in your mouth at least for the first or the last sip. And when you having that water, imagine that your water is actually hydrating each and every body part of yours. Now, visualization is very, very, very powerful tool. uh, you know uh, if you do meditation, and you're into guided meditation, or if you know a bit about visualization, you would know that why do we visualize. Because when you visualize, you're actually doing half of the things, because our mind is very, very, very powerful tool. And if we use our mind for visualizations in a better way, it'll help us. So when you drink water, hydrate each and every body part. Now we know this much, that our organs basically suffer because of the two reasons. One is the lack of oxygen, and the other one is lack of water. We have a lot of body pains because of lack of water. So there are meditations where you do what, when if you have, like, say, if I have issue with my neck, or if I have issue with my lower back, I will sit in meditative position, and I would visualize, or I will get my focus, awareness to that particular body part, and then I would send all the goodness and all the oxygen that I'm taking to that body part. So smaller exercises like these, and I'm not saying you have to spend like hours and hours, just few minutes, do that, and you will feel the difference. So visualization like these can help you, especially with water. Now, why water? Because water is the medium. Everything is going here and there in your body, right? and hence the water becomes the medium. When you're drinking it, your visualization, it is becoming double. So that is how powerful working with water is. Now the other thing is, uh, if you know that you have kapha body, or if you know, see, each and every basically doshas are like pitta, kapha, and vat, right? It's because of the disbalance of these five elements. Now kapha is basically when you have problem of water and I think I've forgotten, so I just have to see, water and earth, right? So vata is air and space, and pitta is fire and water. So we know that pitta, already we know, right? If the fire energy in our body is disbalanced, water is the medium which can help us, right? So it's the balance between the after I'll finish all of the five elements, then we'll talk about these three also, that how, you know, we can work with these three in a very generic way, not to be specific, but in a generic way. So similarly, you know, yeah, working with water. So Jalneti, one of the things that I used to suffer was, I have sinus and migraine issues. So Jalneti is something which has helped me like beautifully. The first time I did was little, it was really irritating, but a couple of days when I started doing, I had never ever in my life had a breath which I had after Jalneti. And I think that is one thing I would suggest, that Jalneti, and not only for people who have congestion or sinus, it is a beautiful tool for cleaning your sinuses and your system, the upper system, right? And of course, detox with water, we all know we can fast with water. You know, the ekadashis were made for that, because so that our body is very intelligent, you know. Most of the time what we do wrong is that we start eating or start drinking based on some diet told about by somebody, right? Now the thing which Ayurveda says is that, you know your body. In fact, body is the one thing which makes us separate us, right? At the soul level we all are same, but it's the body which is different for all of us. So I know my body the best. I know when I need to drink water, I know when I need to eat what I need to eat, and my body will always direct me. But I have to be connected to my body. I have to listen to my body. If my body is saying that I can't have chapatis, I need rice, I have to listen to it, right? Similarly, if I need water, do I need excess water, or am I drinking excess water, or I'm drinking less water? My body will say it to me. It's just that I have to hear it, right? We already see that, if we have lack of water, we get into dehydration. If we have more of water, or we have a tendency, right, of the two, we'll have water retention issues, right? We have bloating, we have water in the organs. So it's just that, we have to be connected to our body. We have to listen to our body, what it is exactly it is trying to tell us. And there are different ways to work with them, and I'm just touching surface level each of these. Once you start working, pick up just one or the two of the things and just get into the depth of it, and you'll know what is working for you or what is not working for you. Now other things are, there are a lot of pranayam. If you're into pranayam, and if you're not into pranayam, if you like pranayam, there are a lot of pranayam which are related to water itself, element itself. Just the breathing exercising, because breath work is one beautiful thing. So if you are into breath work, you can try a lot of breath works which are related to water element. Also you can try mudras related to water. Now I like to have, one of the mudras that I like to work with is a basic mudra which is called the Varun mudra. In that, what you do is, these three fingers we won't use. These two fingers, they'll be like this, right? Both the hands, these two, The other three can actually bend or it can be straight, because it'll be very difficult to keep these straight for a longer time because we're not in habit. If you can, then it is the best, but if you can't, it is okay if you're bending them. But most important is that you're taking your water in a water finger, which is the the tiniest finger, and the thumb, and you're pressing it gently with a little pressure, both things. And you can use it in meditation. You can sit in meditation with this position. This is called the Varun Mudra, and anybody basically can use it. There are other mudras also, but I would not suggest, because see, like, this is balancing water. There are mudras which will help you, taking out water. But if you do not know that whether you need to release water or you need to contain water, so it's better to just know a little bit about them and know your body basically. If until unless you know your body, I would say don't work with any pranayam or any yoga posture, because that will be directly you know directly related to it. The other thing is that when you work with pranayam and postures or asanas, be very very cautious that you're not using two opposite elements, postures or mudras together. Say I'm working on increasing my water, and at the same time I'm doing mudras which are like, telling me to increase my jata agni, or the fire element in me. So these are two opposite elements. They will, you can't mix the two. So work with whatever you're working, just know about it, talk to somebody who already know, and then work on it. The another thing I forgot about this, working with water. One of the ways you can work with water is when you're bathing. Now, while you're bathing, just the way we clean our physical body, we can actually clean our energetic body, and water is the best way to do that. When you're when you're using water, just imagine that whatever thought you want to let go of, whatever thing you want to let it go of, if you, whether it's your disease, whether it's your mental issue, whether it's any situation, whether anything that you feel is stuck with you, you can release it with the help of water. When you are putting water, just set an intention that I am removing all of those from my energetic body. And believe me, this works, because we don't see our energetic body, we don't know how to work with an energetic body, and very simple techniques like these can really help. Just set intention, just say, use your word medicines, as in just use simple words, and just set intention during bathing, and you will see the difference. The other thing is, of course, meditation, because water is related to emotions, and working with water is through meditation is one of the best way that you can do work with water. As I said, Varun Mudra, you can just put Varun Mudra, and you can face the south, which is the water elements direction. Even if you don't do that, just sit and set your intentions around your emotions, and you can sit in meditation and work with water. You can also, during your meditation, if you're as I've spoken about this in the moons video also, that if you're sitting in the moonlight, you can work with that. Even if you don't have full moon or any such moon related circumstances, conditions, you can simply visualize moon, and you can because see, working with energy is not physical, so you need not be in contact with certain energies. You can simply work with the energy levels, and you will see a shift in you. So this is basically how you can work with water. One more thing that you can work with, but I have not introduced it till now, so I do not like to talk about it. But crystals is something that can also, through crystals also you can work with water, but that we will cover when we'll do crystals. So this was more or less everything about water, and there are chants. Yes, when I was talking about water charging, uh, you can charge water simply by saying your affirmations or your whatever chants or whatever mantra you like to use. You can chant. When you're chanting, just keep a glass of water, and when you keep a glass of water, it will be charged, because whatever you're telling it, it'll take it, and when you consume that water, it'll affect you more. So always charge your water. Whatever chanting you're doing, keep your water, a glass of water there, and then drink it. uh, yeah, so this is all about water element. Thank you so much. Happy new moon. And if you want to set some intention, you can set today. If you already are working on some intentions, revisit those intentions and refine them today. Bye bye. Good night.